Rays are doing solid by Shane McClanahan, but they should still prepare for the worst.
You are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome into the Locked On Rays podcast. Locked On Rays is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And we are Kevin and Ulysses.
And we are lifelong Rays fans who have been podcasting about the Tampa Bay Rays since 2019.
Later on today's show, we close out a fun Friday episode with baseball trivia and Name That War. In a few minutes, the Rays are back to seeking help at the catching position. But to start, the Rays seem a little bit too confident in Shane McClanahan's return in 2026.
And we're going to talk about all of that thanks to FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5. And if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Download the FanDuel app today. Yes, you're right, Kevin. They are sounding way too confident for my taste. And that's why I think this offseason, the Rays should prepare as if Shane McClanahan won't be pitching in 2026.
Yeah, it's a good point because Erik Neander, Rays president of baseball operations, said that Shane McClanahan is expected to be fully ready for the start of spring training, and other comments seem to be bullish that he will be ready and available. Not sure what exactly his workload will be. I'll just say don't expect 30 starts and 150 innings. But to me, I think we're putting the cart before the horse a little bit, the way I read into the tea leaves of what Neander in the front office is saying, because let's remember, this guy has been away from the game for 2+ years due to a very unique and rare nerve issue in his left triceps, which took them seemingly forever to try to figure out. And then before that, Tommy John surgery. I'm just kind of racking my brain trying to figure out how many starting pitchers missed 2 consecutive years with various arm, shoulder, elbow injuries and came back to be successful. And I'm with you. I feel like the Rays, they may be saying all the right things here, but behind closed doors, they need to prepare as if Shane McClanahan won't be available at all in 2026. They need to make sure that they've got at least 6 to 7 to 8 names locked down that they know can handle the fort in 2026. Because really, and we've talked about this multiple times, anything, you get 1 inning of production from Shane McClanahan in 2026, probably consider that a little bit of a win.
The guy hasn't pitched since August of 2023. So 2 full seasons and a month where he hasn't touched a major league mound. A little bit of spring training, a little bit of minor leagues this year. And that's it, man. I agree with you 100% because I feel like they are doing right by their player. They're saying the right things. We trust in his work ethic, and even Shane has publicly done like social media posts about how frustrated he is and all that, which is great, good for him.
You want to try to hype him up and motivate him and say, "Hey, we're rooting for you, kid. We believe that you can be ready." But you also have to have a plan, and you have to have a plan as if McClanahan won't be available. And if he is available, great. Then you can figure it out. You can always find a spot in a role for Shane McClanahan. Having said that, though, let's say he is healthier than we and many people out there expect. I'm still not counting on him to be as dominant as he was pre-injury. I think there's going to be a lead up, a learning curve, a building time. Based on
the guy was an all-star starter, and we can't obviously have those expectations of when he comes back. They're doing right by him by saying all this stuff and hyping him up. Also, any player should get that from their team, even more so when you have the quality of production that Shane McClanahan has given the Rays. So they're doing the right thing. But I am with you. Behind closed doors, I need to see the depth chart in the rotation, I need to see at least 6 names. At least, at the very minimum, I need to see 6 starters before the name Shane McClanahan takes a spot. I'm sorry, and like I know this might sound defeatist or negative Nancy for some that are hearing this, but I can't in good conscience put my own mental fandom health towards thinking, oh, Shane McClanahan, he's going to be part of the rotation. Like, why would I do that to myself? Yeah. Because Erik Neander is just saying it on a microphone. And this is not a personal shot at Erik Neander, but he's not a doctor. And Kevin Cash isn't a doctor either. And even the doctors don't even know. So why would us as the fandom put Shane McClanahan, oh, yep, he's in the starting rotation for 2026. I think that's just a recipe for disaster. That's a recipe for your expectations to be so high that when the results are coming in, you're going to be let down, and that's not good for you.
To your point, Ulises, I think that was part of the issue with Shane McClanahan and his brief rehab stint last year is there'd be comments by Kevin Cash of he's making good progress, and then before you know it, he has to get shut down due to some issue that he's dealing with. And if you just look at it,
actually, wait, there's a quote on a Topkin article from Kevin Cash from August 2023, where Kevin Cash says, I'm not really that worried about it, or something like that. I'm paraphrasing, but it's like that. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah. He's been wrong before on injury diagnosis and prognoses. We'll just leave it like that. But I would venture to say, and I think I have a good feeling about this, is there are fewer examples of guys who have come back successfully after being on the shelf for 2+ years versus unsuccessful or limited returns. Just to throw out some names, not saying that, Shane McClanahan is going to wallow into these situations, but Mark Pryor was a guy that lost multiple seasons. Brandon Webb, Josh Johnson, Ben Sheets, Michael Pineda. And, just with Shane, okay, even if he does come back, I still have question marks about what's his arm strength going to be? What's his command going to be? What's his rhythm and stamina going to be? Will he have a hold on pitching at the major league level again? Will he have the confidence and the moxie to dominate? I feel like let me just put it like this. I expect rust if and when he makes his first couple starts, or even in that full year, there's going to be ups and downs. Do not expect all-star performance or Cy Young level performance.
I'm expecting, I believe it was 2011, JP Howell, I think, coming back from Tommy John. You guys can check me on the comments. And he came back and he was awful. Maybe kind of like Shane Boss in 2025. He came back from major arm surgery. Yeah, he was a little bit in 2024. Sure, he pitched a bit and he looked good. But this was the real test, was 2025. And I don't think, even if you're the most passionate Shane Boss fan, can you really give him a passing grade, like at least like an 80? I don't think so. A 70, if you're nice, you can give him a 70. But really, it was an up and down season for Shane Boss. So I'm not comparing them talent wise, Shane to Shane. But we've seen enough baseball where people get hurt and they come back. They're not going to be immediately the same guy. So having said that, let's rephrase the whole segment and say, I hope, not hope, but they better be, the Rays front office. They have to have 6 names at least, at the very minimum, before Shane McClanahan is written onto that rotation. At least 6 names, Kevin.
You want to throw a guesstimate out there as to how many innings pitched he'll have or how many starts he'll make in 2026?
I think the over-under should be like 20.
Yeah, well, I'd have to check FanGraphs during the break to see what the guesstimate is, but I would say that's probably a fair thought.
Well, the Rays did sound very confident about the return for Shane McClanahan, but they did not sound confident at all about the catching duo. This episode is brought to you by PrizePicks, the daily fantasy app where making the right call can actually pay off. Isn't that nice? And you and I make decisions every day. Kevin does as well. But on Price Picks, being right means cashing. And wouldn't it be nice to be right and get some green Skittles back? Well, Price Picks does exactly that. It's quick, easy, and everybody's favorite way to follow along with football. So today, download the Price Picks app and use code LOCKEDONMLB. You get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. So again, download the Price Picks app, use code LOCKEDONMLB, and you get $50 in lineups after your first $5 play. Price Picks. It's good to be right. Thank you for joining us at Locked On Rays, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Kevin, it's deja vu. And that means that the next sentence every Rays fan has heard many, many a times. The Rays will not solve their catching issue this year. They're not.
Let's just go back the last couple years. We've gone from Mike Zunino. We've gone from Francisco Mejia, Christian Bethancourt, Rene Pinto, Ben Mortvet, a little bit of Danny Jansen. And then the later half of this season, we saw Nick Fortes and Hunter Fiducia, who, not to throw you under the bus, Ulises, and I'm actually in the same boat with you. I thought that Fiducia would be a thing, but he was anything but a thing or a dominant player in his limited MLB experience with the Rays this year. His numbers are very apropos and comparable to one Alex Jackson. I'll just leave it at that.
In 119, my boy Fiducia had a slash line of 170, 286, and 220. Fiducia, my man, what happened? Yeah. And again, 119.
You got a taste of that. Hey, it's a lot of responsibility to be a major league catcher.
And a lot of new guys that you need to understand how they pitch, how they think. We just had a great interview, with Tatum Levins. And if you guys haven't checked it out, check it out. And we can see how the mentality of a catcher is based, especially in the Rays organization, is what can you do behind the plate defensively? Well, how can you get along with the pitchers? How can you help them get that extra 1% out of them? So obviously that's going to be their main responsibility, but you
have to wear many hats as a catcher. Yeah. And we're bringing this up because Erik Neander, aside from talking about Shane McClanahan and being confident in his spring training return and being ready and all that, when asked about the catching duo of Hunter Fiducia and Nick Fortes, Neander said that both did some good things, not great things, but good things, and added, quote, "We're going to keep looking," which is great. I think you should always be on the prowl for adding talent and better players that can help you win. The issue, however, is I've looked at the free agency options. I've looked at the trade options, and it seems like the pickings are pretty slim. As far as free agent goes, JT Realmuto's could be out there, but he's probably going to stay with the Phillies. And after that is Victor Caratini. And a whole lot of nothing.
The drop-off is crazy.
Yeah, and then maybe you can work out and navigate a trade, but it's I appreciate the Rays are going to look for upgrades, but this is such a hard position to fill, as we know how the Rays have had 25, 30 years of a challenge of doing it. So I really think it's just going to be more of the same in 2026. You have to make an effort. I mean, what I'd love to see is bring back Danny Jansen and pay him a respectable salary, because he did good work in a Rays uniform and then with the Brewers. But I think the Brewers are going to keep him around for next year. But I think the point is that catching is going to be a problem. At least catching offense is going to be a problem for the Rays in 2026. And you better hope that everywhere else is pretty solid, because if we're dealt the hand of Nick Fortes and Hunter Fiducia or some combination thereof, I just don't see how this position can get that much better in 2026.
It looks like it's going to be very frustrating to be a Rays fan watching the Rays catchers take at bats.
Yeah.
And if you look at the roster construction, how it is right now, and we're definitely going to have ample time to go through it, I don't think catching is the number one worry.
No.
I feel really good about the infield. I think in the infield, obviously the shortstop position has a question mark, but obviously that's going to, you at least have two names that you know what most likely they'll give you. The outfield power drought, you got to figure something out there.
Yes.
So I think that's a bigger problem than the catching duo. Why? Because historically, like we basically see almost every 3 episodes, the catching situation has always been a problem. It has always been an issue, and it's going to continue to be an issue. And with the options that are available in free agency, which are few and far between, like JT Realmuto, that's a damn really good catcher. But you're saying, he most likely will stay with the Phillies.
Yeah, he'd be expensive. And let's be honest, why would you leave an organization like the Phillies to go to the Rays right now?
That doesn't make sense. And I know, and we're saying this as Rays fans, like, why would you leave that atmosphere to go to the Trop?
Correct. And
I know it sucks.
that's winning.
And don't get me wrong. Rays fans, rational Rays fans are with us. They understand what we're trying to say. Some other Rays fans are going to be like, well, they just be a Philly fan. Like, no, if you were a professional athlete and you had your picking of where you want to be, I know no state tax is nice, guys.
Right.
That's why we also live here.
He makes enough money where that's not an issue. He's already played for the Marlins. He's played in Florida once. I don't think he wants to go back there, whether it's in Miami or in St. Petersburg.
That atmosphere is nuts in July. It's
nuts year round
it's crazy. It's nuts. So you can take him off the bleeping list. And then the second option is Victor Caratini, bro. Like, yeah, that's what he can have an okay season, but he's not a world changer. He's kind of like a Danny Jansen in my book. Like, right. Yeah, solid. I would be interested, but like, and we'll make an episode about it. But like, it's not going to change the fortunes of this organization.
It would be the same thing of, okay, you signed Victor Caratini, great. It's an upgrade from what we have presently. But if you're in the same boat mid 2026 as you were in 2025, he's just going to be traded for parts, and you're going to be in the same situation in 2027. Now, if the Rays really want to be, targeted about this and find a long-term solution, they might have to go the trade route and pay out the butt if they want to get in Ivan Herrera or a Ryan Jeffers or a Jonah Heim. The Pirates have a couple guys as well. So if you're going to be trading for a player like that, which I would support, you better be prepared to give up some equity, whether it's prospects or players that are in the majors right now that have some upward mobility. And it's really about how serious are the Rays to upgrade
the catching position.
Erik Neander says he's looking. Okay, you're looking for another Matt Weiss? Okay, fine. Okay, that doesn't really solve the issue, though.
Right, thank you. What are you looking for? Oh, yeah, we're looking. But what are you looking for? Because I know you're not looking at JT Realmuto. And guess what? JT's not looking at you either.
Yeah.
So it's going to be tough, and that's why the Rays will not solve the catching issue. I know it sucks as a Rays fan to just know, that's another year. But again, no free agents are going to be game changers for the Rays.
No.
And two, the trades that are going to happen, it would have to be a blockbuster. And that would also mean then some pieces that you like are going to, I mean, you're not going to get a great catcher for Jake Mangum only, or for Chandler Simpson only. Or for what? Christopher Morel? Guys, let's not be Yankees fans and say that we can get everybody for Clint Frazier and Miguel Andujar. Like, let's not be those guys.
Yeah, this isn't MLB The Show where you can just, manipulate the numbers and the mathematics to say, okay, it's an even trade. You just trade 5 guys for this one guy and it works out. It would have to be a trade to the point to get one of those guys that I named. It would have to be a trade to the point where you feel like you almost lost the trade, even though you gained a quality catcher.
Yes.
It would have to be one of those situations where, oh my gosh, how did we give up that guy? Even though we might have our catching problem solved. And the Rays don't typically do that.
And they don't do that. So again, the Rays will not solve the catching issue this year.
And one more point on that. Have we mentioned Dominic Keegan yet?
No, because he didn't have a fantastic season to speak of.
Right.
He didn't have a horrible season. He had a 730 something OPS in AAA.
That's my point, is that please don't scream that Dominic Keegan is the savior. We've been through this before with prospects.
Everybody.
He was fine. Okay. He struggled at times in AAA, but he did not knock the socks off to the point where you say, oh, this is our catcher of the future. He could very well be a Hunter Fiducia 2.0.
And if you're a catcher in this Rays organization, like Tatum Levens, for example, dude, lane's open.
Rake.
Wide open for you.
Yeah.
Like you
broke a tackle and all you see is green in the end zone. You can get it done, sir. So, all right. Let us know what you think in the comments. Yeah, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to solve the catching crisis, is what we might have to term it going forward. Next, and to close a fun Friday episode, we'll see who gets stumped when we come back and play baseball trivia and name that war.
The NFL season is almost here. Kevin is psyched, and FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5. That's $5. And if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Sounds like a pretty good deal, people. And what makes FanDuel amazing is that it's quick, easy, and it's the best way to add a little green Skittles on your Sunday that you don't know where to put them. Well, you can use FanDuel for that. You got same game parlays, even jumping in live as the action unfolds. So are you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet.
All right. Thank you for listening to the Locked On Rays podcast and making us your first listen every day. We appreciate it. We are part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Ulises, today you have trivia for me, and I have named that war for you. So let's get started with some baseball trivia.
Well, for baseball trivia, we are looking at 2013. Why are we looking at 2013? Because on Thursday, the Cleveland Guardians were kicked off the playoffs by the Detroit Tigers. They're gone.
That's
and
true.
Guess what? In the wild card, 2013, the Rays kicked the then Cleveland Indians out of the wild card. So we're looking at 2013, and in front of me,
oh boy,
yes, I have the 15 Rays players that played in that game. 15 position players and pitchers included. 15 played in that game. Kevin, and you folks at home, can you name 7 out of these 15?
And this includes pitchers?
This includes pitchers.
Evan Longoria.
Evan Longoria is correct. He had 4 ABs that game and had a hit.
Ben Zobrist.
Ben Zobrist is incorrect.
What the heck?
I'm just kidding. He's there.
Okay. I was going to say, I'm really in trouble here.
If he's not there, what are we going to do? No, he's there.
Friend of the program, Matt Joyce.
Matt Joyce, friend of the pod, is not on this list. Strike 1.
Okay. BJ Upton.
BJ Upton is not on this list. He left after the 2012 season. You are staring at 2 strikes. You're like, insert race catcher.
So it's, I don't know the catcher's name. I mean, maybe Dioner Navarro, but I'm going to table that for now. Let me, Desmond Jennings.
Desmond Jennings is correct. Got a couple knocks that game, Desmond did. You've got 3 out of the 7. People are getting angry at you while we're playing this. They're like, come on, Kevin, snap out of
About
it.
a pitcher, about a catcher, about an infielder, an outfielder.
Boy, the catching situation. I mean, this was a guy we have.
Wilson Ramos. No way.
Is incorrect, Kevin.
Kelly Shopping.
I will name all these names.
Okay.
Alex Cobb started the game. David De Jesus, Yunel Escobar, Sam Fold, Desmond Jennings. Oh boy, this is gonna hurt. Indiana bump. Kevin Kiermaier.
That was probably his first game.
Yes, that was how he made his MLB debut. Very nice. Good. James Aloney.
I knew he was on there.
E. Longoria. Jake McGee. Your favorite catcher of all time. Jose Molina. Yeah. Rookie of the Year in 2013.
Will Myers.
Joel Peralta. Fernando Rodney. Delman Young in his comeback. And Ben Zobrist. Leave it down in the comments if you think, hey, that's a long time ago. Kevin is fine with just getting 4. Or if in the comments you're like, oh, what the bleep was that, Kevin? What was that showing? I'm going to show you up in the comments. Do that too.
Also put in the comments how boring or bad was that offense. It couldn't have been that great. Just based on some of the names that were read out there. Just saying. Okay, good question. You stumped me. I should have done better. I had some of those names in my head. I should have gone with my first instinct. I really thought of Kiermaier as a name, Will Myers as a name, and James Loney. So I am very disappointed in that. Now we'll see if I can stump you with a little Name That War, where we take a player from the past and try to guess that individual's career baseball reference, WAR. And our second segment today was about catchers. So I decided to select a catcher for Name That War. And that catcher is one Kurt Suzuki.
Oh, good name, Kev. Kurt Suzuki.
A little hint here, he is not in the Hall of Fame.
He is not in the Hall of Fame, but he's a damn good golfer. Kurt Suzuki. I believe he definitely played for the once Oakland Athletics. He played for the Nationals as well. Those are the two teams I can picture him in, although I do believe he also played in Seattle. So I'm going to give him like a 12-year career. I know he was very well respected behind the plate. Incredibly well respected behind the plate. I don't think he was that much of a stick, though. So even if you're an amazing catcher, like people say Jose Molina was, you can still put up a 0.1 WAR because you're so bad with the stick.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Kurt Suzuki played a dozen years. Let's put a 1 WAR each season, 12. And give him I think he was an all-star once. Let's go with 14.2 for Kurt Suzuki.
Okay, your guess is 14.2. A little background on Kurt Suzuki. He played 16 years in the bigs from 2007 to 2022. So from his age 23 season to his age 38 season, he played with the Oakland Athletics for 7 years, the Nationals, the Twins, the Braves, the Los Angeles Angels, and I think that is it. Little footnote on Kurt Suzuki. You are correct. He was a one-time All-Star back in 2014 with the Twinkies. He also won a World Series ring in 2019 with the Washington Nationals, of course. And let me just note this. He did not strike out. The most strikeouts he had in a season were 73.
Nice.
And like this guy was having, there were years he had 550, 600 plus plate appearances. and he would strike out like 50 times. So that is, so let me just say the offense is probably a little bit better than we thought or expected. He had a 255 career batting average, 143 homers, a career 702 OPS, almost 300 doubles there, over 1,400 hits. Good numbers across the board. But his Baseball Reference career WAR, you guessed 14.2, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You undersold him by a few. His career WAR was 19.6.
I would have gotten that right if I would have known 16. I measured him on 12 years. Okay, I don't feel that bad.
I honestly thought it would have been a little bit higher, but it looked, well, his last couple years, he didn't play all that much as he got up there in age. And I think he had a couple of seasons where he got injured as well. So that probably dampened his WAR a little bit. But overall, solid player. I mean, the fact that he's putting up those types of numbers as a catcher and he has a good reputation if he's able to last 16 years behind the dish.
702 OPS for after 16 years as a catcher. Sign me up.
Yeah, there we go. Hey, maybe let's bring back Kurt Suzuki out of retirement and play for the Rays, or be a catching consultant, something. We need some help desperately. On that note, we appreciate you for listening. You were the best. For your second listen, check out the Locked On MLB Game Night Show. Every game, every night, all season long. That is on the Locked On MLB YouTube channel and wherever you listen to your podcast.